You know what's funny? The strongest people I know aren't the ones who never look at their ex's Instagram. They're the ones who understand exactly why they can't stop looking. And listen, this is happening everywhere right now. Like millions of people tonight are going to do the exact same thing, scrolling through someone's life who isn't even in theirs anymore, feeling weird about it, but doing it anyway. Welcome to Dude Psychology. Okay, before we get into this, real talk, if this is hitting home already, just hit the like button. I promise you what we're about to talk about is going to make so much sense of something you've probably been beating yourself up over. And there's something I need to tell you by the end of this video. Something about what's actually happening to you when you do this. Let me just ask you straight up. When's the last time you typed their name in the search bar? You know that feeling, right? That little drop in your stomach when the page loads. That weird mix of wanting to see and not wanting to see at the same time. So here's what happens. You see them with their friends, looking happy, and something in your chest just like tightens up. And then there's that second wave, that shame. Like, why am I even looking at this? Why do I care? You notice they went somewhere new, and your brain immediately goes into detective mode. Who are they with? Are they over me? Did they even think about me today? And you're sitting there at 2 a.m., phone brightness turned all the way down, scrolling, analyzing, torturing yourself. Here's what I find fascinating, though. While most of us are doing this, there's this other group of people who just don't. They blocked their ex the day it ended and never looked back. And honestly, they seem lighter somehow. I've been working with people going through breakups for years now, and I've noticed something. Some people think you're pathetic if you still check on your ex. Other people secretly admire the ones who can just cut someone off completely. But you know what? Both groups are missing something important. Because there's a whole psychology happening here. It's not just about being weak or strong. It's about how your brain processes loss, how you deal with uncertainty, how you were taught to handle pain. And yeah, it's also about some really specific things happening in your nervous system that nobody ever explained to you. Before we go deeper, I just want to say this. I'm not here to tell you whether checking your ex's social media is right or wrong. That's not the point. The point is understanding what's actually happening when you do it. Because once you understand it, you can make real choices about it. Here's what I've learned after working with hundreds of people through this exact thing. Our biggest problem isn't that we stalk our exes online. It's that nobody prepared us for how to grieve someone who never actually disappears. They're just there. Always accessible. Always visible. And every time you look, you're doing something to your brain that's way more intense than you realize. And this is what worries me. There's something happening to your sense of self when you do this. Something about who you become when nobody's watching. A trap that I've seen destroy people's ability to move forward, and they don't even know they're in it. All right, let's talk about what's actually going on in your head every single time you search for them. When you see their face on your screen, your brain releases dopamine. That's the feel-good chemical. Same thing that happens when you eat something delicious, when someone likes your post, when anything rewarding happens. And here's the kicker. Your brain literally cannot tell the difference between seeing them in person and seeing their picture on Instagram. To your brain, it's the same thing. But there's more. We're literally wired to attach to people. Like, it's in our DNA. Thousands of years ago, if your tribe kicked you out, you died. Not like sad died, like actually died. So our brains evolved these super strong systems to keep track of our people, to maintain bonds, to freak out when those bonds break. When you were with this person, your brain literally restructured itself around them. New neural pathways, new habits, new patterns. You became a different version of yourself that included them. And when it ended, those pathways didn't just disappear. They're still there, still firing, still looking for that person. Social media took this ancient survival system and basically turned it into an addiction machine. You can check on them anytime, see what they're doing, who they're with, whether they seem happy. It's like having access to something you're supposed to be letting go of, 24/7. Now, I've noticed people basically fall into 3 categories with this. The first group, they have what I call solid internal validation. These people don't need to know what their ex is doing to feel okay about themselves. They've processed it, they've grieved, they've moved on. And honestly, that's the healthiest place to be. Because checking on your ex is like any other addiction, it never actually satisfies you. You always need more. You always need to check one more time. But then there's the second group, people who avoid looking, not because they're healed, but because they're terrified. Terrified of seeing something that'll hurt. Terrified of finding out their ex is happy. And I've worked with so many incredible people who won't look because they think looking means they're weak. But sometimes, looking and processing what you see is actually part of healing. The shame around it is what's toxic, not necessarily the behavior itself. The third group is interesting. These are people who get it. They understand what social media is designed to do, and they just opt out of the game. They might check occasionally, but it doesn't control them. It's not compulsive. They're not using it to avoid dealing with their actual feelings. Research shows these people have way less anxiety and depression around their breakups. But listen, it's not as simple as just stop looking or it's fine to check. The difference is in the why. Why are you doing it? That's what actually matters, and that's what we need to unpack. Every time you check their profile, you're interrupting your own grieving process. That's what I call it, grief interruption. You're in this natural healing process, right? Your brain is slowly detaching, slowly building a new identity without them. And then boom, you see their face. You read something they wrote. You see proof that they're living their life without you. And all that progress? Gone. You're back to square one emotionally. The thing is, what you're seeing isn't even real. It's their highlights, their best moments, the stuff they want people to see. But your brain doesn't process it that way. Your brain sees them smiling and thinks they're happy all the time. Sees them with friends and thinks they've completely moved on. Sees them looking good and thinks they're thriving while you're falling apart. And then your body responds like you're in actual danger. Cortisol floods your system. That's your stress hormone. Your heart races. Your stomach drops. It's the same biological response you'd have to a real threat. Except the threat isn't real. It's just pixels on a screen. Want to know how the cycle works? First, you get an urge. Just a little thought, a bit of curiosity. Then you give in and look. Then your brain starts analyzing everything you see, creating stories about what it means. Then comes the emotional hit, pain, jealousy, whatever. And finally, you feel like garbage for looking. You promise yourself you won't do it again. But guess what? The neural pathway just got stronger. The habit just got reinforced. And the whole thing repeats over and over. I had this patient once who came in 6 months after her breakup. She was checking her ex's Instagram about 20 times a day. She'd literally started tracking it because she was so horrified by her own behavior. She told me, "I feel insane. I know he's not coming back. I know this is unhealthy, but I physically cannot stop myself." What started as just wanting to make sure he was okay turned into this compulsive monitoring of his entire life. Every post, every like, every comment, looking for signs. Signs of what? She didn't even know anymore. We're the first generation trying to get over someone who never actually goes away. That's the experiment we're all part of. And nobody warned us that you can't heal from someone while simultaneously having unlimited access to their life. The scariest part? You stop living your own life. You become an observer of theirs. Your mood depends on what they post. Your self-worth depends on whether they seem happy or sad. Your entire emotional state is tied to someone who isn't even thinking about you. You see them at a concert, and suddenly your quiet weekend feels pathetic. You see them accomplishing something, and your achievements feel small. You see them with someone new, and your whole world crashes. You see them happy, and you wonder if you ever mattered. And the thing is, you can't win this game. You're comparing your private pain with their public performance, your worst moments with their best moments, your reality with their fantasy. So who are you without knowing what they're doing? Who are you when you can't measure your progress by their posts? A lot of people realize they don't actually know anymore. Their whole identity got wrapped up in monitoring this other person. I had a guy tell me once, I was spending more time watching her life than I was living mine. I knew her schedule better than my own. And that's when it hit me. I wasn't trying to get her back. I was trying to avoid feeling empty. The research backs this up, by the way. People who stay digitally connected to their exes take way longer to heal. The more you check, the harder it is to accept it's over, to move forward, to find peace. And the cost is bigger than you think. Your mental health suffers, more anxiety, more depression, obsessive thoughts. Your new relationships suffer. You can't fully invest when you're still tethered to the old one. You're not present anymore. Hours disappear into scrolling. And the energy, the time, all of it going into something that gives you absolutely nothing back. So what do you actually do about this? Let's talk solutions. Good news. You can change this. You can break free, but it takes real effort and specific strategies. First thing, urge awareness. When you feel that pull to check, stop. Don't immediately grab your phone. Take 3 deep breaths. Ask yourself, what am I really looking for right now? What do I think I'll find? How will I feel after I look? 9 times out of 10, you'll realize you're not looking for information. You're looking for relief from an uncomfortable feeling, and checking won't give you that. Second, boundaries. This is the hard one. Unfollow. Mute. Maybe even block. I know that feels extreme. I know it feels final. But you can't heal a wound you keep reopening. Boundaries aren't punishment. They're protection. They're you giving yourself the space to actually process this without constantly being re-traumatized. Third, build your internal validation. Start catching yourself when you're looking for external validation through their profile, wanting to see if they miss you, if they're sad, if they're thinking about you. Instead, redirect that inward. Ask yourself, what do I need right now? How can I give that to myself? This takes time. You're literally rewiring your brain. Fourth, check your intention. Before you look, ask why. Is this a conscious choice or a compulsion? There's a difference between curiosity and anxiety. Learn to tell them apart. Fifth, reality check yourself. Their Instagram is a highlight reel, not a documentary. That happy photo might have been their only good moment all week. That post about their amazing life might be total performance. You don't know what's real, and trying to figure it out is stealing from your present. Look, it's not about never thinking about them or never knowing anything about their life. It's about not letting it control you. It's about keeping your dignity and your sanity in a world that makes both almost impossible. Try this. Start your day by checking in with yourself. not their profile. Ask, how do I feel? What do I need? During the day, when the urge hits, redirect. Text a friend. Go for a walk. Write about what you're actually feeling. End your day reflecting on moments you were present. I know what you're thinking, but what if they're trying to reach out and I miss it? Listen, if someone wants to contact you, they will. You don't need to monitor their social media for that, but I need to know if they've moved on so I can move on. No. Your healing isn't dependent on their timeline. Your peace doesn't require their happiness or sadness. Get support. Real support. Friends who've been through this. Therapy. People you can be honest with. Real connections will heal you more than digital stalking ever will. And yeah, you're gonna mess up. You might block them and unblock them. You might go days without checking and then spiral one night. That's okay. What matters is the direction. Are you moving toward freedom or toward obsession? One of my patients said it perfectly. I deleted Instagram for a month. At first, I felt like I was missing crucial information. But then I realized the only thing I was missing was my actual life. But let me tell you something that goes deeper than all these strategies. I had a patient who had a health scare recently. Nothing too serious, but serious enough to make them face their mortality. And they told me something I think about all the time. When I thought I might die, I didn't think about how many times he looked at my stories. I thought about whether I'd actually lived, whether I'd been present, whether I'd loved myself as much as I loved him. You don't need a health scare to get this. You can get it right now. At the end of your life, what's going to matter? How much you knew about what your ex was doing, or how much you showed up for your own life. You can decide right now that your life is yours. Your moments are yours. Your worth isn't dependent on whether they miss you or moved on. The people who can disconnect completely, they're teaching us something. That we have a choice. That not knowing is okay. That sometimes the bravest thing is closing the app and opening your life. Here's the truth. The best healing isn't the one that looks good on social media. It's the one that feels right when you're alone. When you turn off your phone and look in the mirror, do you like who you see? So do this for me. Really reflect on your relationship with their social media. Not from shame, from love. Ask yourself, am I healing or performing? Am I moving forward or stuck? Do I feel better or worse after checking? Then make your decision. Block them, mute them, limit yourself, delete the apps. Whatever you need, but make it your choice. From self-love, not self-punishment. Because this is your one life. Every minute spent watching theirs is a minute you lose. A minute that could have been healing, joy, growth, gone. You are enough. Right now. Without knowing what they're doing. Without them seeing what you're doing. You're enough in your mess. You're enough in your healing. You're enough on hard days and strong days. When you really believe this, their social media loses its power. Look or don't look. But it won't control you anymore. If this resonated, if something clicked, I need you to do something. Subscribe to this channel. We're going to keep having these real conversations about the stuff that actually matters. Breakups, attachment, healing in the digital age. Hit the bell so you don't miss it. Give this a like, but do it consciously. If it helped. If you learned something. If you think someone else needs this. Every like helps this reach someone lying in bed right now, about to check their ex's profile for the 20th time today. Leave a comment. Tell me where you're at with this. Are you the person who checks constantly? The person who blocked everyone? What's your story? Let's build a community where we can be real about this stuff. And if someone you know needs this, share it. A friend who's stuck, someone you care about who needs permission to prioritize their healing. Sharing this is an act of love. Remember, this change doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. There will be setbacks. That's normal. What matters is starting. Today. Right now. Be patient with yourself. You're unlearning years of patterns. You're going against what our whole culture says is normal. That takes courage. Give yourself credit for every small step. I'll see you in the next video. We'll keep going deeper into this stuff. Take care of yourself. Be kind to yourself. Your healing is yours, not content. Live it. Really live it. Until next time.